So TED is also about renewing ideas. And if you think about many of the industries that we take for granted every day, museums, libraries, newspapers, they're undergoing challenging times. And so when you think about renewing ideas and reframing ideas, we thought nowhere better to start than someone who's going to talk to us about how to think about the museum and museums of the future. So Bill Jacobson is going to show us how renewal is going to happen. Bill.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we can get inspired more regularly in our everyday lives through the art and culture that is all around us. The Mona Lisa hangs on a wall behind bulletproof glass at the Louvre, staring out at the over 8 million people who visit her every year. She smiles because she knows no matter what TED video comes out or YouTube video comes out, she will consistently draw the crowds. And these aren't the crowds of people that just click on a mouse. These are crowds of people that travel halfway around the world just to see her across a crowded room. Well, Mona, you are clearly a success. But at the same time, many of your friends are getting lost in obscurity. The American Association of Museums reports that on average, people spend 3 seconds in front of an object at a museum. That's it. And what are these institutions that house our collective treasures doing? Well, one of the go-to ways that they are working on this issue is to provide bigger exhibits, more marketing, more traveling shows, and more extravagance. Well, at MuseTrek, we've been experimenting for the last year on how do we connect people more with the art and culture that is all around us. And it comes down to 3 main things that we've come out of this. Information both on-site and online, opportunity to use art and culture in our everyday lives, and then true two-way dialogue between people. And let me briefly go through each one of those. Information. We've all been either on a city block or in a museum where we've been captivated by something that we've seen. But then we go to read the placard and it's in Spanish or French, or if we're in a foreign country, or if it's in a city block, there's just no information. Well, we now live in a world where all of that information is possible on our own devices, the phones within our pocket. So at MuseTrek, we've been working to make ways so that the information, contextual information from the places that house these objects to internet resources to other people within the community can all be accessed and work well together. And that brings me to the second point, opportunity. We don't live in a world where we just believe everything we're told. And the way we really get to trust things is by hearing what other people think. So what MuseTrek is making is a way for people to take the cultural items around them and weave them into their own stories, use those objects in a way that you could tell your own tours or create your own treks around the objects around you. We're talking about museums, and we're doing this in a large part for museums, but another exciting way that we're doing this is within city areas, and we're working with the transportation networks so that organizing tours or treks emanating from subway stops. We're doing this both in Paris and Boston. And it has 2 effects. One is it's enabling people to define their own neighborhoods and their own areas and tell their own stories, and at the same time creating a valuable guide for tourists and for visitors, for locals alike. The last one is dialogue. It used to be that people went to the Louvre not only to look at the work of the masters, but they would bring their canvases and they would set up and paint and converse with their friends and critique each other. Well, today, the digital medium is increasingly our canvas and the way that we communicate with each other. And MuseTrek, by enabling us to take the objects and the treasures and weave those into our own stories and create our own art from it, that is an area that we're adding dialogue to this, along with other more traditional social networking pieces. We've been experimenting with this for the last year, largely in conjunction with the Louvre, and there have been a number of takeaways. The biggest one is that for many people, to move beyond the 3 seconds in front of a work of art, there needs to be some sort of a hook. And the hook that, by getting participatory people involved, is to have a social connection. And once somebody has that social connection, they're much more likely to get an intellectual or even an emotional connection to the works in front of them. We're at the phase now where in the fall we will be launching this, mostly in Paris. We'll be launching the website, the mobile trekking platform, and the social network. And we're doing this in conjunction with some very well-known Paris institutions, including the Centre Pompidou, the Cité de Science, and the Muséum Art Décoratif. Finally, I don't think the Mona Lisa has anything to worry about. She will always draw the crowds. But she may smile even a little easier knowing that someday soon, more and more people will come not only to visit her, but to visit many of her friends. Thank you.